Hi, welcome to Salt City Knits podcast. I'm Emily and I'm coming to you with episode 3. Can't believe it's episode 3. Here we go. 3 weeks in a row. I know, it's amazing. And I'm coming to you from Salt Lake City, where I live with my husband and our 2 youngest children who are both teenagers. So send your prayers, please. No, they're really good. They are really, really good teenagers. So I'm really blessed. Today I will be sharing a lot of knitting with you. I have no finished objects, but I have 3 works in progress, and I have a new quilt that I will be starting that I'm going to talk about, and a new pattern that's coming out. So I'm excited to share all those with you, and I have a book recommendation as well at the end. So let's dig in. First of all, again, thank you to everybody who is returning and everybody who has subscribed or commented or liked a video. I am so grateful for you and for just the interactions that we've been having. It's so lovely and I'm really enjoying this. So thank you for all of your encouragement and support and questions. I had a question last episode about this cardigan, so I thought I would talk about it for a minute. This is the Menuet cardigan by Ririko, and I knit this with Yarn Cafe Creations in the Pinkamena Diane colorway, which is a My Little Pony yarn. I think that Pinkamena Diane is Pinkie Pie's real name, I think. I could ask my daughter or my son if either were here. But Pinkamena Diane is the colorway. My kids jokingly call this my aquarium gravel sweater. I don't see that as an insult at all. I love the color so much. And as you can see from the pictures, it has a beautiful panel in the back. It's mostly reverse stockinette. It's got cables at the shoulder seams, the shoulder increases here, and this beautiful kind of wavy panel in the front, and then the cables and baubles in the panel in the back. It is an A-line long cardigan. It's fingering weight yarn. Oh, and look at the sad state of my cuff. Right before I decided to record or started recording, I had to take my daughter somewhere and drop her off. And when I was coming back in, the cuff caught on my car door. So I am going to take this off now, but I am going to have to pick up these little stitches right here and do some repair. And it is pulled across that line. So I'm going to have to do some attention. I think I'm going to keep it on. It is a little cold. It has been the stormiest, coldest, longest winter. I don't know if anybody else is feeling this way. Oh, I know lots of you are probably feeling this way. Those of you in the Northern Hemisphere at least, but I am so ready for spring to come. And I know it's coming. And it's really ideal if it comes slowly and gently because of the amount of snowpack we have in our mountains. Salt Lake City is located in a valley that is surrounded by mountains. We have 2 mountain ranges that kind of wrap around this valley. And the snowpack is huge this year. And so if we have a lovely, slow, gentle warm up, it's going to be wonderful. We've been in drought conditions here in the Western US for several years, and here in Salt Lake City or Utah in general, I know in California, just major drought. And so this is a great gift, but we could end up with some flooding and things like that if it warms up really fast. So I need to keep my brain okay with slow warm up. But right now I'm really struggling. So color is great. And talking to you is great because anything that can help me feel cheerful and positive is really good. Also, my husband's birthday was yesterday. And so we went away just downtown Salt Lake City, stayed at a nice hotel and just did that Saturday to Sunday this last weekend. That was so just delightful, lovely, wonderful, delicious food at the restaurants, absolute quiet, just connecting, relaxing. It was great. So that was also a great way to keep going. All right, I wanted to talk about my works in progress. This is kind of crazy. I don't have any finished objects, but I did finish a wedge in my shawl. So here is the Fragmentation shawl. I have 3 wedges done. Look at that. Oh, I love seeing it on the camera. Look at that. Oh, it's just so fun. I haven't woven in any of the ends for wedge 3 yet. And there's my sad sleeve. So all those strings are hanging down. This is Stephen West Fragmentation shawl pattern and knit in these amazing wedges. I am loving this. It is so much fun. He recommends using the weave and steven method for catching your ends. I don't really care for the weave and steven method. I just don't think it looks very nice. And I want the back of my shawl to look really nice because look at that. It's still beautiful. It's garter stitch. And the place where you're picking up stitches to connect the wedges has a beautiful, almost kind of I-cord finish to it. So if you take the time to weave in your ends in a nice way, look how pretty. You can just enjoy the back and the front. And I don't really care for the weave and steven. So what I'm doing is after I knit each wedge, I'm going in and taking the time to weave in those ends in as invisible way as possible, which is just like doing duplicate stitch. That's how I'm doing them. And it's super easy to hide my Surrey alpaca ends. They just disappear into the fluff. It takes a little more care with just my regular fingering weight. This is a fingering weight Surrey, 100% Surrey alpaca. That is just an undyed that I had still on my shelves in my stock from when I had my yarn dyeing business, the Embray. And all the rest are scraps. So I did take some time to weigh this last time, and this stripe right here, so that's the widest, the biggest stripe of any of the colors, is that last colorful stripe in each wedge, is 5 grams. So I mean, you know, you can see that these down here at the bottom are just the tiniest of scraps. So that's been really helpful in knowing if I have enough yarn. I had 2 little tiny bits of this pink left. These are actually 2, you can see there's a little bit peachier tone and then a cooler pink there. And so I just used those 2 in the same stripe because I think they just blend so well. You wouldn't notice unless I pointed it out. They just look kind of tonal. So I did do that to use those up. I think I have enough to do one of the littlest wedges of this one. But it's just been so fun to work on. And I know I am going to wear this. I just am loving it. So this is my fingering weight Surrey alpaca. That's all I have left now in my first skein. And so that'll easily get me through the halfway through my 4th wedge. So 2 skeins of this. These are 100-gram skeins, fingering weight. So they're just under 400 yards. I think they're like 386 maybe, something like that. Is definitely plenty for this project. And then here's what I have left. My bag started out, you know, fuller, and this is what I have left of my, aren't these so pretty? I just love looking in that bag. It's such a pretty collection of colors. Pinks, purpley pinks and yellows, just the softest yellows. I found this one. I'm going to definitely be including that one. Isn't that, oh, it's so pretty. It just make me, oh yeah. So here is what I have left of that pink. So that will definitely do, not even just the tiniest wedge. I have enough to do probably a couple more little wedges of that. Even, you know, little tiny bits like this little floof, that's plenty for some of those smaller sections. Like this one right here. Just little bits. Oh, they're so fun. Yep, I'm enjoying it so much. And I'm just, yeah, just loving this project. I've added, so I'm keeping all of my fingering weight, you know, my colorful ones in this bag. But my whole project is in this basket right here. And I have my scale in here because I want to be weighing out. I just thought about it at the end of that last wedge that I've just finished. So I am going to weigh all of the wedges that I do for the next one, all the stripes that I do for the next wedge. And that way I can, oh, I guess you don't need to be on right now, do you? Okay. That way I can have record of what it took to do each section. But I usually have a spot like right here. I can put my water, and I keep my notions tin in there a lot of the time. You have to see this notions tin. This was a gift again from Deborah, my sister. Look at that. It is the cutest tin ever. It's got a little top tray in it. Enough room for hand cream, needles. Oh, this is a fun thing. My friend Renee gave me this. I'm trying to remember what this was called. It's like the mesh that they put over fruit. Like, you know how you'll buy a pear and it'll have that mesh, except for Kate, she bought a whole spool of it. This is excellent to go on the outside of your yarn cakes, like a yarn cozy. And then you can just cut a little piece anyway. So you can do it for even like your 20-gram minis when you wind those into little cakes. So I have some of that in there. I have more downstairs of that. A few pair of scissors, stitch markers, of course. But I just love this tin. It is so cute. Look at these pretty scissors. Anyway, I think one of my favorite things with knitting is finding beautiful tools. I love glamorous things. I like my stitch markers. I tend to really go toward things that look like jewelry. Let's see, I don't know if you can even see that. It's probably not focusing. In fact, every once in a while, I will end up with a pair of earrings in my, you know, they'll be annoying me or something. I'll take my earrings out and stick them in my notions tin so I don't lose them. And then I forget that they're there because I'll even opening my tin and searching for things because they'll blend in, because I love knitting jewelry, if you will. I love So Sweet Violet Jewels often has these gorgeous crystal stitch markers. Those are some of my favorites. Anyway, so that's my shawl. I love it so much. So again, the pattern, Fragmentation Shawl by Stephen West. My variation is that I am striping Surrey alpaca, fingering weight Surrey alpaca with other fingering weight scraps, and I'm lining up my Surrey stripes instead of doing the spiral kind of stair-stepped version that he does. But I have seen some gorgeous versions. You'll have to go over to Candy Shop Yarns podcast. I will link in down below. I put all my links for my projects and yarns in the project notes in the description box below. So I will link to her, but Deborah over at Candy Shop Yarns is knitting the Fragmentations shawl as well. And she's doing the most amazing summer colors palette. And she's doing it the way that he shows it with 7 colors in the stair-stepped pattern. And it's really just fabulous. All right, next work in progress is my Raglan sweater that I am making, my Raglan cardigan. Let's see if I can arrange things. I have everything here surrounding me and I want to make sure that I don't knock anything over. because I've done that before. Okay. I am using my Dandelion and Dogwood advent calendar from this last year. And I am making a Raglan cardigan. And of course, it's all bunched up on the needles because I'm getting very close. Even though it's all rolled up, it's hard to tell. But I'm getting quite close to being ready to divide the sleeves from the body. So actually, I'm not. I'm getting quite close to being done with the increases there. But I will still have more to do. So here it is from the front. I am on 1, 2, 3, 4, color 4, getting close to being ready to stripe in color 5. And I just love how it's turning out. I'm including all of my colors that have a lot of white with speckles in the top section of this. And then we'll get more saturated as we go on. So the theme for this advent calendar is sending, gotta tuck that in, see if it'll stay. Sending Christmas roses. Here are the ones I have not, the minis I have not wound up yet. That was my full skein. So this is where I will go next, and then starting here and then here. So that's kind of my fade. I think I'm gonna leave this one out. It's a gorgeous one, but I just don't feel like it's gonna fit in my fade. See, if I take that out, I think it works better. It does, which is great because then I could use that for something else. And that one's called Hellebore. Oh, they're just so beautiful. So beautiful. So these were all named after roses or rose themed things. And I just dropped one. Darn it. Because if I pick that up, I'm going to knock everything over. Okay. I dropped number 5, so that is okay. So my first one, this very, very, very beautiful light pale pink. Oh, and I know you can't see on the camera, but is it going to pick it up? It's got beautiful silver sparkle. It's just not, doesn't just show, it just doesn't show on the camera. But gorgeous silver sparkle through all of these. So my first very light pink is called Desdemona. That's this one. And then this one is called New Shoots, I believe. Yes, New Shoots. It's got that little bit of green and red fleck. And then the next pink, this warm, just slightly warmer pink, is Emily Bronte. And then this next one that's got kind of warmer corally colors in it is called Petals in the Snow. And then this next one that I'm just striping in now is called Frosty. No, that's not Frosty Rose Hips. It's called Turkish Delight Liqueur. I had to look on the floor. So that's this one right here that I'm working on. Turkish Delight Liqueur. And then the next one I will be doing is this one called Frosty Rose Hips. So fun. And then at that point, I will have completed all of the the palest of the pinks and then the whites with speckles. And my next one, then I will go into Ferdinand. This is Ferdinand Pitchard. So a lot of these are specific breeds of roses, specifically David Austin roses. And then the Shepherdess. And I know a lot of these are ones that Amy of Taylor S Studio, also of Dandelion and Dogwood yarns, that she has in her garden. So yeah. Oh, just so pretty. So then after this one, I'm going to go into kind of the peachy yellows, the warm yellows, and then again back into more peachy pinks, and then with greater saturation. So that's how I'm going. I'm not using a pattern for this. My goal is to be coming up with my formula for my favorite fit of Raglan fingering weight cardigan. So It's the kind of thing where I have I think a lot of us do have our own sock recipes. You know exactly how many stitches you cast on, how many rows you like for your cuff, how many rows you like for the leg, the kind of heel that you like, whether you like an afterthought or a short row or a heel flap and gusset. And then how many rows for the feet or inches. Some people measure by inches. And then what kind of toe. We all have that. Or, whether you like it toe up or cuff down. We kind of, once you get to where you're knitting a lot of socks, you just develop that formula that is your recipe, if you will, that is just your perfect fit. And you might tweak it from time to time, but generally you know how to make your socks. And I know that that's how I am. I don't even have to think about knitting a pair of socks. It's just something you do. I just know the steps and know the numbers, and I just can knit them. And I want to have that for a cardigan. Cardigans are my favorite. I don't really wear pullovers. And I prefer fingering weight cardigans. And I have talked about this before, but I just wanted to have my own kind of recipe. So that's what I'm working on. A lot of that is pulling from other things I've knit and knowing kind of what fits I liked and what I didn't. I don't like it if sleeves are too, like if a sleeve, like an arm side is too deep or a sleeve is too baggy, but you also don't want it so tight that you like can't wear anything with sleeves underneath it, things like that. So hopefully I will do a good job at this. I mean, this is new for me. So I say that I'm going to do this. We'll see how it turns out. Maybe I'll knit this whole thing and go, well, now I know next time that I need to, increase a little bit longer or stop my sleeve increases before I stop my front increases, or who knows. But that's kind of the point of doing it this way. And these yarns are just so beautiful. I wanted them in a sweater. I know I'll wear a sweater more than I would wear a shawl, although I do like shawls. It's just, I tend to put a shawl on and go and do something and then come home and take it off. Whereas a cardigan, especially, at this time of year, I'm wearing it all day around the house. And so I'll just get a lot of wear out of it. And that's such special yarn. I want to really enjoy it. Okay. My next work in progress is my new design, my new sock design. I say my new design. I actually have one that is finished. I'm just finishing up the instructions, but they're almost done. So this is another one that I'm just working on now. And I am calling these, I'm kind of in a weird place to show it, but actually this is kind of good. I'm calling these the Wasatch socks. So here it is. And it has got these textural cables down the front, which I really love how they look. They're fairly subtle. They're not, I designed them so they would be more like a texture and less like just a braid or something, which I really like too, but that's what this is. So really fun. And this yarn is Spruce by Candy Shop Yarns. That's the colorway is Spruce, and it's on the Simple Syrup base, I believe, or fingering weight sock yarn. So that is where I am. And I think it's kind of cool for you to see this because this is how I use Magic Loop when I am doing my gusset decreases. I use a 40-inch cable. I have a lot of 40-inch cable needles because I don't tend, I'm a larger woman, so there's not a lot of need for me to have 32-inch cables. I don't need that circumference for my body. I don't. So 40-inch cable is more universal for me. It's good for shawls. It's good for sweaters. It's good for socks. And then this is how I do my gusset decreases. And honestly, it looks like a uterus. It just does. It looks like a uterus and ovaries, you know, but that's how I do them. So I pull up a loop at both of my decrease points as well. And then at the center of the heel. So that's where I have that. And then once I finish all of my decreases, I go back to having just, you know, the 2 points on my magic loop at dividing front and back. So that's kind of how I do my decreases. So it does mean that when you're ready to go to the next needle, I have to readjust by pushing my needle down. And then I have to pull my loop here, which just pulls this spot, and then pull my needle out. So it ends up being that there's those 3 points of decrease. So now that I'm ready to knit again. But that's how I do them. And I'm really loving it. So I was going to knit these for my husband, but I'm going to be honest. He doesn't love hand knit socks. He is very sensitive to texture. And hand knit socks have just enough texture, just in the natural knit stitches, that it really bothers him. So he wears his hand knit socks to church on Sundays, but he wears another pair of socks underneath them. And which means that, you know, coming up here in another few weeks, hopefully, it will be starting to get warmer where he doesn't want to wear 2 pairs of socks. So he just kind of humors me, let's be honest. So I think I'm going to make those for my daughter because my youngest daughter, she loves that color of green. It's her favorite color. And she loves her hand knit socks. So it means that I will need to knit the foot a little bit shorter, but the girls in our family have really big feet, and my husband doesn't have as big of feet, which I say the girls, everybody in my family has really big feet, except for my cute little daughter-in-law who has the teensiest little feet. So she'll be fine with these, and her ankles and side and so on will fit just great with this. So she doesn't like her socks and as snug fitting as he does either, so it'll work really well. So those will be for Abby. And they are the Wasatch socks. So I will be finishing up that pattern and photos, and I will be test knitting that one. So if anybody is interested, I will put out a testing call probably next time I record. If you would like to be a test knitter, I'll have a form for you to fill out if you're interested in that. And that pattern will come in 4, I think, is it 4 sizes or 5 sizes? I think it's 4 sizes. I think it's 56, 60, no, it's 5. 56 stitches, 60, 64, 68, and 72. So 5 sizes for that pattern. Those are all of my works in progress. So I want to show you my new sock pattern that will be releasing soon here. These are called the Clover Springs socks. Clover Springs is a campground here in Utah, and also another recreation area up in Mill Creek Canyon, also called Clover Springs. So this pattern I knit also using Candy Shop yarns, and this was the Wish Upon a Star sock set from Candy Shop Yarns, which is just so pretty. And of course, as all of Deborah's yarns came beautifully packaged, this one came with a beautiful tulle bow when I got it, and a gold star that said, "Make a wish." It was just so pretty. So I'd been saving it for quite a while, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. So these socks only come in one size, unfortunately, but they come in a 64 stitch count size. And this pattern will be releasing again, probably in the next week or so. So I will post that. I am putting my patterns on Ravelry. I'm slowly adding my former patterns. I have a few of them up on Ravelry, but I still have some more to add. I think the Alta hat needs to go up, and a few of my sock patterns need to go up. I think right now just the Scrappy Bias shawl and maybe 3 sock patterns. And I think my Good Cheer shawl are all up on Ravelry. But working on that. But all my patterns are available at yarnbrary.com. So you can find them all there on my website. I'll put those links below too. But oh, I love this one. It's just a fun, really easy texture, really easy to knit, that gives kind of this spiral effect that kind of reminds me of my favorite spot up in Mill Creek Canyon, where the actual Mill Creek runs right through this picnic area. And it's just so, it's one of my favorite places to be. It's not very busy. It's so quiet. It's just at least 2-3 times a year I try to get up there. Right now it's closed for winter. You can't go that far up into the canyon, but it's probably about June it'll open up. And then June through October, it's just my favorite spot. So that's the Clover Springs sock pattern. And of course, this would be adjustable to knit the leg as long as you wanted, but it's just a simple texture pattern that gives that really fun spiral effect. So yes, be watching for that pattern. I'm going to try and be better at promoting my patterns. I think it's so hard, both as a writer. I always struggled to promote my own books, and as a designer, I struggle to promote my patterns. I always feel like, people get sick of hearing about it. But what is the point of doing the work of designing something and then not telling people about it? So I'm working on it. I'm working on getting better at sharing the things that I have designed. All right, I wanted to talk about this baby quilt. So I am going to have a grandson. So excited. My daughter is due in July. And here's another fun thing. My sister Deborah, who many of you know, I've been talking about her at Candy Shop Yarns. Her daughter is also having a boy, and our girls are due on the same day. What? So fun. So Aria and I had a little, and my other daughter, Abby. So my 2 girls and I went out to lunch last week and ate pasta, which is never a bad idea, and went to Gardner Village here in local to me. It's in West Jordan, again, suburb of Salt Lake. We're in the Salt Lake area. And it is this cute little shopping area. All of the shops are in these adorable historic homes, many of which have been relocated there. So it's this cute little village, gorgeous landscaping and cute stream and ducks, of course, not at this time of year, but just a couple of like cute little bridges and footpaths, and it's just such a fun place. And then there's all kinds of shops there. And I don't know if I've talked about this before. I feel like maybe I've mentioned this in a previous episode, so if I have, forgive me. But there is a awesome yarn shop there called Willow Hill Yarns. And there is also an amazing fabric store called Pine Needles. Especially, it's really suited to the quilters. They carry mostly quilting fabrics. And so these are the fabrics that we have chosen. Aria's inspiration for the nursery is, let's see where I have to look. Maybe I need to flip it. Oh, right here. The little toadstools and kind of a woodland theme with especially these little mushrooms. That's her. And so she saw this fabric, and I noticed the hedgehogs. I didn't notice the mushrooms right off. Here, let me unfold this a little bit. Because they're little, But that was the first thing. Her eye just went right to it. Oh, look at that. So she fell in love with this one. So we are doing these fabrics, and I need to find the selvage and find out who the designer is. Hopefully I got one with a selvage that is printed. I don't know if I did or not. Not on this one. I'll see if I can find it on the others. But so we've got this little hedgehog, and then oh yes, here we go. It is Nina Stainer for Dear Stella. So that is the fabric line. And so this one again has deer and squirrels and the little mushrooms, bunnies, fox, hedgehogs. So cute. And then we've got, this one is so both of these are from the same line. So these would both be Dear Stella fabrics. And then this one is as well. Yeah. Nina Stainer or Stagner. It's Stagner. Oh, let's hold it right side up. Here we go. Again, look at that. Oh my goodness. Isn't that the cutest? Look at that bear. He is so cute. Oh my gosh. I just love that one. Oh my gosh. I love it. And then we've added some Moda. So this is a Moda, and so is this one. And then this is going to be kind of my white background, and it's got these teensy little moons and stars in it. So cute. And this one is a Riley Blake. What is it? Goodness. I always want to know what fabrics are because I get obsessed with them. This one is one of the seasonal basics. And it's by Christopher Thompson for Riley Blake. But isn't that a sweet little, oh, I just love it. It's so fun. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for her. Aria has wanted to be a mom since she was 3. Literally, she's 3 years old. She's nursing her little baby dolls, breastfeeding them. She has loved babies and children forever and is going to be such a wonderful mom. And this is hard. She has some health issues that make being pregnant and having babies really hard on her body. But she is so happy, and I am folding these so wrong, so I'm going to stop. But I'm just really in love with these fabrics. I kind of wanted to show them to you all at once again, but it's probably not going to be a successful attempt here. Let's see. We'll hold them up the way that nature intended. Aren't they the sweetest? I just love them. I really love when you put fabrics together. You kind of have to squint your eyes when you look at the fabrics kind of all stacked up together. See which ones fit the right way. Which one doesn't quite, you don't want it to meld. You want things to pop. But which one doesn't quite read the same as the others. So the pattern I'm going to be making is a very simple quilt pattern. And but I think it'll really show off those fabrics that she is interested in and that she fell in love with, and just be delightful. So let me pull it up really quick. Oh, it looks like Aria and I have a Pinterest board together. She created a Pinterest board so that we could kind of collaborate on some things. Come on, enlarge the way I want you to. All right, well, this is on Pinterest. So this is the pattern that we're going to be making. I'm going to be making. And it is called the Herringbone Baby Quilt. And it's on the Quilting Stories blog, Herringbone Baby Quilt by Quilting Stories. Christine is the designer, and it's just so darling. So yeah, let me actually show you the picture on her website rather than just on Pinterest. So Quilting Stories, isn't that just pretty though? It's just going to be fun. It'll be a nice and easy quilt to make, and I will probably hand quilt that one. I have a Q snap quilting frame that is so nice for doing things like baby quilts because it's lightweight. I can kind of slide it into the corner of the room or even take it apart and take it down if I need to. And it just makes it easy for hand quilting. So I will probably get started on that one this next week as well, I hope. I think that was everything that I wanted to show you. I got to fix my sleeve. I've got to go and teach a class. I'm going to be teaching a writing class. I teach on Tuesdays afternoons, and we're learning about the hero's journey today. So I got to go do that. And then I've got a lot of knitting to do. I'm excited to get the Clover Springs pattern finished up and keep working on the Wasatch socks. And I think that's everything. So thank you for joining me today. Thanks for sitting and knitting with me. I hope you've had an enjoyable time, and let me know if you have any questions that you would like me to answer in future episodes. I've been kind of brainstorming some fun ideas as well, but a lot of the time I think we'll just have a little knitting chat. I really like this format of, this is kind of I call it my knitting nest. I have my big basket that holds all my project bags that sits next to my chair. I've got my little table right here where I keep a notions tin, usually my water, my drink, my reading glasses for when I wear contacts, I have to have reading glasses, and things like that. And I've just got all my projects right here. So I kind of feel like I'm just sitting in my normal knitting spot, and you get to come and hang out with me, and you know, it's like you're sitting across from me and we're having just our little knitting chat. So it's great. If you've enjoyed this video, I hope you will subscribe, hit the like button, leave me a comment. Definitely let me know if you have any topics you'd like me to discuss in the future. And I'm excited to visit with you again. So happy knitting. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.